This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's
Friday!
huh?
That was good.
You should have, like, a window should have opened and you should have just yelled that into the streets.
I thought that was beautiful.
Well, it is Friday, everybody, and I'm here with the lovely Lindsay, Al, Brandon. I just did that in the wrong
I can't
order.
be lovely?
You are, but she was great today.
She's lovelier.
I'm Tori. Let's get right to it. All right, let's start with a quick update on a story we talked about a couple days ago. Remember this woman, okay? She's being called Lion Queen after she climbed over the fence at a lion exhibit at the Bronx Zoo. She was dancing, waving her arms, and taunting a lion. Well, now the NYPD have ID'd her as 32-year-old Maya Autry, and they're actually asking for the public's help in tracking her down. Now, even though the woman's Instagram clearly shows she has been spotted recently in Times Square posing with members of the force. So I don't know if you guys know this, but right before she went into the zoo, she did imbibe some kind of inhalation drug.
Why are you talking like that? It's like you swallowed a dictionary and you're like, I got to get this out.
And she said
she got high.
She got high. I don't know on what. And she said, I'm going to go.
I think we know on
Okay.
what.
And she said, and I'm going to go mess with the MF Mother Earth. So that was all planned. All of that lion stuff was like planned.
I just want to know how much the police are looking for her when she posted on Instagram 2 hours ago.
Yeah, turn around, guys.
Like, I'm confused.
I think PETA needs to jump on this then, because PETA will find you. If PETA doesn't like you messing with the animals,
That's
PETA
true.
will find you in a heartbeat.
That's
so
true.
she's got her 15 minutes right now. You said she posted on Instagram. She was what, rapping?
Yeah, she is. I think she wants to be a lyricist, honestly.
This is bad.
So watch out before you crack a joke, Al, because she goes head to head with the king of the jungle.
Brandy,
she'll go head to head with the king
You know,
of
I'll
comedy.
always crack a joke. This is my only thing, and it made me think of the ice cream challenge when people were going in the ice cream and licking it and putting it back.
Yes.
Yeah.
If anything gets attention, there will be copycats, and I don't know how many times you can get into a lion's den without it being a problem.
But will there be copy big cats?
Ooh.
All right, more on the impeachment showdown. CNN reports that the whistleblower is a registered Democrat. But does it matter if he's a Democrat or Republican? We want to know what you think, and I think I understand this because we're so divided right now. I do want to say I hear that, I get that, but I have 3 pieces of evidence I could spout at you right now that corroborate everything the person has been saying. So we have the South Lawn, we have the transcripts, and now the text messages.
I just think political bias is real, especially in today's climate.
I agree.
And for the past 3 years, you know, Democrats have been trying to impeach Trump. And so I think that this is just something to look at.
Yes.
No one said this is going to just sweep the whole entire impeachment inquiry under the rug.
Yes.
But it's something to look into.
Well, let me show you the text message because we actually have it. I just want to show you this. It says, I think it's crazy to withhold, this is Bill Taylor saying into the text message, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign.
The response to that text message was, you're misunderstanding the president's intention, though. You have to also
And then they
make
said
sure.
maybe we should get off text
Wasn't that
messages.
his intention to withhold the fund? Because Ukraine has been invaded by Russia, correct?
Yeah.
And we're giving them weapons to defend themselves against Russia. And when he says, it'd be nice if that money that hasn't showed up and is 2.5 weeks late, which is used to defend themselves, I mean, you're really saying, wouldn't it be a shame, Brandon, if I forgot to arm you and then you got invaded? That's what it's saying, right?
But if we're looking at text and taking them at face value and going to use those to prosecute, we have to make sure that we're just looking at exactly what that is.
Well, we also have the South Lawn yesterday when he asked China to look into and interfere with our election. And we also have the transcripts in which we see a quid pro quo. So right after this text, he also said, let's get off the text message.
So you're basically saying, and you wouldn't be crazy for saying this, forget political bias, forget party lines and affiliation, just let facts be facts.
Yes, and also let cake be cake, because check out the Library of Congress.
Nice transition.
Thank you. This is the cake they're serving. You ready?
Ooh, delicious.
Peach mint crumb cake.
But that's disgusting.
Yeah,
I like what they're doing.
You like the pun, though?
I
Peach
do,
mint.
but I wouldn't eat it.
It doesn't sound good.
It does not.
Yeah,
It doesn't
sounds
sound good.
weird.
Yeah, those two things should exist in different universes.
But it's a good try on their part. I like
Apple
it.
crumb peach cobbler.
All right.
That's
There's
it.
no pun in that. All right. All right. Do you have trouble trusting people? Well, apparently Amanda Knox really struggles with it. She says she's still getting death threats. Well, check out this. She said this in her first interview from returning from Italy. Remember, where she spent years defending herself from the accusation that she killed her roommate. Watch this.
I worry that when I meet people, they will have a great conversation with me face to face, and like I'll think that we had a human connection, and then they'll walk away and like go to their buddies and be like, yeah, I talked to the killer, Amanda Knox.
Okay, so if you don't know, she was in Italy. They have a totally different justice system, and I think she didn't do anything wrong. But why go back to Italy? That's my question. That's where she received a lot of these death threats, and I just don't understand why go back to a country that treated you so poorly.
That's very strange.
Yeah, her reputation is already stained. You know, it's kind of like nothing we can take back. She was already in prison for 4 years. And I think that she said something interesting that I read on NBC. She told them that her life became this entertainment for us, but it was really her trauma that was her life. So it's interesting to see that perspective of, we took it in as documentaries on Lifetime. We watched her story, but she's living this.
But guess what? She's always on those. I'm not saying anything bad about her, but she constantly seeks this out. And I'm not saying I'm blaming her, but why go back to the place in which she could have been arrested for libel, because they have that in Italy? I just don't know. Do you feel bad for her?
This is going to sound weird, but I think she could take a page out of Mike the Situation's playbook. Okay. Honestly, think about who he used to be. He was the party guy. I got abs, you know, go out and party, drink it up, get in trouble. And you saw, and that took him to a dark place. Yeah. He cleaned himself up, fixed himself, used prison as the final step to clean himself up. He's back out. He's a family man. He's not doing the Jersey Shore reunions. He's not going back out to nightclubs. He's fixed himself. He's
You're
not
saying
going,
just stay quiet.
Just change your life, and the people will go away. If you go back to the source of the only thing people know you from, it's going to be bad.
But don't you think it's a little different from his situation, her situation? You know,
that was so good.
That was partying and tax invasion. This is murder. Like, there's certain things that people can't come back from.
But she didn't do
afterwards.
it.
It's a hard time.
You know she was acquitted.
After accusations, though, pedophilia and murder. I mean, she's not O.J. Simpson. She wasn't the Jew. She didn't run for 2,000 yards. It was easier for him to come back and try and somewhat assimilate himself into.
I would think that if she changed her name, she's less recognizable than O.J. O.J.'s head is huge. He can't go anywhere. His head looks like a case for another head. It's huge. So like, she can kind of like move to some small town in Wisconsin and be fine.
So we want to know, DBL Nation, do you feel bad for Amanda Knox? It's a good question, good conversation. We do have something kind of really sad here, a birthday surprise that went horribly wrong. This 37-year-old man flew from Norway to Florida to surprise his father-in-law on his birthday. He apparently jumped out like you would of the bushes to surprise someone at 11:30 at night, startling his father-in-law, who then shot him dead. Police are not pressing charges. Yeah. So we heard an audible gasp. Let's just call it out in the studio. That's a horrific coincidence, but earlier in the day, the father had been bothered by someone who he was wary of, so he was really on edge.
And it was just 2 hours prior to that, and that happened on the front door, and this guy, the son-in-law, jumped out in the back door, and the backyard's supposed to be fenced. It was dark. Like you said, he had the prior confrontation, and there's a 61-year-old at home. It's just unfortunate.
Does this not like give a good reason to not have extra guns in school?
But what if he wasn't his son-in-law? What if it was an actual
But he
intruder
was, and now his son-in-law is dead.
No, I get it. I understand that, and that's the situation that that's not supposed to happen. You know
right,
what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
problem, but you can't take back a bullet.
No, I understand that. I understand what you're saying, and you know, I'm not pro-guns. I'm not anti-guns. I'm just saying it's just one of those once-in-a-lifetime type things.
I think Tori's saying that the statistic that you always quote, which is
more bullets, more guns, more death. It's
right. So, but I see what you're saying, Brent. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that we know and trust and respect that are responsible gun owners, and those people always get swept up with things like this. But I think that this doesn't happen very often. But I mean, when you show up and I don't want to talk ill of the dead. But you kind of have to think. If it was your birthday, and I was like, Brandon, let's put on ski masks and jump out before she goes into her. You would be like, that's the worst idea ever. It's a bad idea, and sometimes bad ideas end up
Especially
like
at 11:30.
Yes, I hear you.
It's a bad look.
Guys, we do have some breaking news. Remember, we are live. Diane Carroll, an Oscar-nominated actress and singer, has died. She was 84. She was actually the first black woman to star in her own TV series as Julia and is very well known for her amazing role on Dynasty. Wow.
Yeah, you think about what a pioneer she was.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, my dad used to think she was so attractive,
She's
too.
so pretty.
Old
So
black man used to be
gorgeous.
like, she is a fox. Yeah, I loved her.
Wow, she's
Yeah.
gorgeous. Wow. Well, we wish her family and we hope everything is just prayers for her.
Rest in
Carroll
power.
family. That's exactly
Right, 84 good years.
Good years and well remembered. DBL's live. Coming up, I go one-on-one with the man behind the voice of Forky, Tony Hale from Toy Story 4. Find out how he brought the lovable character life in Chatting with the Stars. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Should cops have to meet a certain waistline requirement? One agency's tough rules are being called into question. Your comments coming up next.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Happy Friday. Kelly, happy Friday. I don't know why I did jazz hands, but I'm happy it's Friday. I hope you are too. We're so happy you're here with us today. Let's go to the desk and see what's going on with our host. Hey guys, what's happening up here?
What's going on?
Happy Friday.
Yes.
Friday.
Any cool weekend plans, guys?
It's one or the other. I'm either going to go to LA or go to the Casa event that I wonder if you can still get tickets for, but even if you can't get tickets, please donate. It's our own Erica Cobb's charity that she supports. She spoke at it last year, had me crying like she always does, but it's an incredible organization. It's about for kids that need kids in care that need child advocates. It's so important. It's
You talking about Casa?
Yes.
It's very important. Sorry, I got deodorant on my sweater. Let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
It's a really great opportunity to have children who are otherwise totally unsupervised and lost in the judicial system. Imagine you doing it as an adult. They get these people that stick with them. It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's such a great way.
I made a large donation last year.
You did.
That was one
Do
of
you
those
think
things.
you were overserved before you made that donation?
No, but I wasn't, because that was the first item
Oh,
up.
it was the first. It was scotch.
I bought a
You're
ton
right.
of scotch last year. I
Thank
bought
you.
like the amount of scotch that should come on the bottom of a ship, like where you have to go get it. Really? You have guys. I bought a lot of scotch.
Okay.
And
How much scotch?
Wow, that
it
feels
was
good.
a lot of scotch. It was a lot of scotch. It was really good.
Good cause.
Yeah,
and
great
you got to
cause,
turn
and I
up
mean,
off of it.
I don't know if I could do that again. My tax guy was like, all right. But yeah, it was honestly no regrets. And I think it's that thing where it's like, oh, well, what's $100 gonna do? If everybody gives $100, if everybody gives $50, if everybody gives $10, whatever you have, first of all, it's tax write-off. So why not?
Yeah.
You're gonna give it to the government anyway. Why not give it to some kids that you can really help launch in the next generation? So why not just do it? You're going?
Yes, I'm going.
With
I'm
the mister?
excited. Yes.
All right. Have you already discussed his outfit?
Yeah, his mom's bringing it. His mom's coming with me. I'm meeting-
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, where we get to hear from you. The topic, state troopers in Texas. So they are suing after some were told to slim down. This new policy could lead to the firing of male officers with a waist larger than 40 inches and female officers with a waist exceeding 35. I literally had to check my own waist on this, even if they pass their physical fitness test. So, DBL Nation, do you agree with this policy, or is this just straight up discrimination? Lindsay, let's hear it.
All right, Jim from Twitter says, I'm physically fit and weigh 230 pounds and 6'3" tall. However, my waist is 41 inches due to my large build. It's crazy that this could have me fired. And I agree. I don't think they should discriminate based on size. But I will say I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, and we were forced to give all police officers free coffee and bagels and donuts. So I think we can all live in moderation and just be healthier.
There we go.
Bravo.
So you're saying you had something to do with it? your hands are not clean. They got sprinkles on
They
them.
got sprinkles on,
I
yeah.
agree with this because this is for public safety. If you want to be out of shape, get a desk job like me. Ty, they're not out of shape, though. They have to pass 2 physical tests in the fiscal year. And I just look at it like we can look at waistlines and all. Our own Al Jackson has a bigger waistline than me, but he would soul cycle me under the table.
Yeah, he
so
would.
it really
Did that feel
doesn't
good,
matter
Al? What was
about
that?
body type. Soul cycle king, bro.
How does that feel, Al?
I don't know. I might be too out of shape to read this next one. Tony from Twitter says, not all physically fit troopers have the same body type, height, or the same genetic makeup. I mean, there's like, we all know this. They're just people in your family that are just big dudes. There are people in your family that's like, oh, she's a bigger person, but their body, it fits their body. So I don't know. I just don't like blanket rules.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you break it down and do it individually, then somebody's saying I'm being picked out and unfairly, just put on an island. So I don't know what
Well
you do
said
with
on
this.
that.
If they were saying something
Well
where
said,
it was
Al.
about like equipment, like the equipment has to fit around, that makes sense.
Like the
but
belt?
If you, yeah, the
like
belt.
if you have to get a seatbelt extender for your holster?
That's not a good look.
That's not good.
No, Doris from Facebook says, I personally think a lot of law officers are a little too heavy. This is honest. I appreciate this. I also think about how it can present some serious problems and get in the way of their job. So I feel like we're all laughing and stuff, but then like if someone stole my purse or did something to assault me, I would want a police officer in amazing shape to go after that person.
They pass 2 physical tests a year. So what does a waist belt have to do? What does your waistline have to do with anything?
Well,
they
BMI
are
has a
in
lot to do
physical
with your.
shape.
Look, I agree with you. There's exceptions to every rule, and we shouldn't make blanket statements. But certain jobs require certain things.
Don't we ask for some firefighters?
Wait, Brandon knows for defensive players. They're big and they run fast. So this goes against everything
But
that
they
they're
don't have stamina to run after like a long period of time. I'm just saying I do want to see police officers fit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But would we do the same thing if we were talking about firefighters that have to run upstairs, get
Sometimes those are
human
volunteer
beings and
jobs,
carry them
so I
back
don't think
down?
so.
No, you have to pass a physical test. This is where you guys are missing. Like you're missing this.
But
You
they're
have to
saying
be
even
able-
if they pass it, so they're saying that there are people that pass it and are still considered too big. So that I don't know how difficult the test is.
We'll find out.
It might just be like the end of Double Dare, like really easy.
It's not Double Dare. All right, well, another Jersey, just speaking of the situation, another Jersey Shore star is sitting in jail right now. Raquel, what is going on?
Well, Tori, Ronnie Ortiz Margot is being accused of chasing his girlfriend with a knife after a drug binge. It happened just after 2 a.m. in L.A. His girlfriend, Jen Harley, ran out to help from their screaming rental and said she was being hit. Police say the Jersey Shore star then chased her with a knife while holding their infant daughter. He then locked himself inside the home and cops had to break the door down, eventually taking him down with a taser. Jen and the baby are okay, but Ronnie faces kidnapping charges and his bail was set for $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sorry, we're hearing this with you guys. It's live. So Ronnie chased someone.
It's
with a
not
knife while
cute
holding his
anymore.
baby.
I know I'm not on camera.
Wow.
You're too old. And I had this conversation with a friend recently because I was somewhere where I was too old to be. I'm going to tell Ronnie and all the other dudes on Jersey Shore, you're a 40-year-old man. Stop doing drugs. Stop drinking. You look like a fool. That's for 20-year-olds to do, and they shouldn't be doing that, but they are. It's time to grow up. That's super embarrassing, and that's what the end of the line looks like. When you don't realize it's time to grow up,
It's Al Jackson, everybody.
How embarrassing.
Listen up. Coming up on DBL, a special friendship that will warm your heart. See how a Texas high school student gave up her homecoming crown in today's DBL Superstar of the Week. And next, Tony Hale from Veep on DBL. He tells me how the cast reacted to Julia Louis-Dreyfus losing her Emmy in Chatting with the Stars.
Drugs. They're not crazy. If they dried out for a year, this would change.
They've done too many drugs and now they're crazy.
You can soak your brain. There's such a thing called wet brain.
So we're talking really quickly, just this is breaking news. We kind of want to chat about it. Ronnie from Jersey Shore chased after his girlfriend with his infant daughter allegedly in his hand. Thank you. With a knife. Then cops had to then break down the door
Because he was barricaded inside with the baby.
So that's where you get the kidnapping. So if he didn't lock the door, he wouldn't have been charged for kidnapping.
He wouldn't come to the door, so they had to knock it down with a baby inside. With a baby inside.
It's almost like you forget that your life is not a TV show.
This has been
You have
going
to
on,
kinda
you guys, for way too long. Chris and I we love Jersey Shore, so we follow it really well.
Do you think we're culprits in this then?
No,
you got.
all of his friends have tried to get him help. He went to rehab, and clearly it's this woman. She makes him off the rocker.
And
He
plus,
was
if
getting
it's-
help, and then he went back to her.
If it's not him, like, we can't be like, oh, we did this. If it wasn't him, there's going to be somebody else that they
You're
picked
exactly
to
right.
cast.
Look, someone just wrote
And however that
in.
person
Don't understand why
handles
Ronnie
things.
keeps fooling with Jen. Ridiculous. He was doing fine after rehab. Come on, Ronnie. May you find peace, brother.
So literally 12 hours before this happened, he was walking hand in hand with her in LA. They were talking about how much they love each other, and then this happened. So I think Al's right. It's drugs. Makes your brain go crazy.
Everyone, I want you to meet Forky.
Golly, Bob House. Look how long his arms are.
Trash?
No, toys. They're all toys.
Trash.
I never thought I'd be able to relate to a confused plastic spork. No matter how old you are, though, Toy Story 4 is hilarious, and a big reason why is this new toy, Forky, voiced by Tony Hale. I got the pleasure to catch up with the Veep and Arrested Development actor ahead of the movie's DVD release in today's hilarious Chatting with the Stars. Tony Hale, welcome to Daily Blast Live. Were you aware, by the way, Tony, of how many adult fans love Forky? So I wanted to read some tweets to get your reaction. Quote, Forky is the best, the end, the anxiety icon. Or I don't know who is the most relatable character, Bo Peep, strong and independent, Woody, refuses to ask for help, or Forky, trash.
You know, I was very overwhelmed even to be asked to be in this movie.
Right.
Forky's very overwhelmed. He sees the world very simply. He asks a lot of questions. You know, he's kind of in the middle of his own existential crisis where people are like, hey, Forky, and he's like, here's the deal. I'm a spork, so let's establish that. I don't know why you're calling me Forky.
So he's gender identified with a different cutlery.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's like, you know, I was made to help people eat and go to the trash, so I don't know why you're calling me a toy.
Oh, man.
But Woody comes along and he's like, listen, you're made for more. You have purpose. You are worthy to be loved and to love. And it's just like, oh, God, who doesn't want to hear that, you know?
I fork and love it. Now, you're a dad to a 13-year-old who you say she's embarrassed by everything you do. Would she be more embarrassed by your
Everything
Mr. Roboto commercial? Or the time when things got revealing on Sex and the City with Kim Cattrall.
She hasn't seen a lot of my work. She hasn't seen Veep, and she won't until she's in her middle age. No, but it was fun to be able to share a Toy Story with her.
That's
awesome. Because she grew up on that franchise, and so it was neat it was cool to have her see her dad in that.
Veep just ended forever. Were you surprised when Julia Louis-Dreyfus didn't win Best Actress in a Comedy, especially because she could have made Emmy history?
I mean, I'm such a huge Julia Louis-Dreyfus fan, so I think she should win everything she goes out for.
You're right. Out of all the roles that you've had, and they're really some of the most well-written comedic roles ever, which one was your favorite, if you had to say?
They're all so different.
Yeah.
I think probably just because it's so fresh.
Yeah.
On Veep, we got really close.
Yeah.
And so I just loved the whole process because it was a real kind of free environment where you were free to like throw out ideas even if they were bad.
Right.
I had the time of my life.
It's like
on
a
that
family situation almost.
Yeah, it really was, and that's what you want.
Thank you so much, Tony Hale. You're amazing.
Oh, perfect. Great.
Such an honor to
Thanks,
talk
Tori.
to you anytime. And bye, brother.
Bye, sister.
Bye. He said bye, sister. We'll be right back.
Promote.
Hi DBL Nation, it's Raquel here with Leo, and we have a movie review of Joker. And it's a lot to start on this one.
Yeah, for real. This is a serious take, guys. Like this is not as superhero comic book action-packed as the Marvel movies. This is
it's not at all.
very different.
This is completely deviated. I'm still feeling uncomfortable. The subject matter is serious, realistic, gritty, dark. Think Taxi Driver which Robert De Niro is actually in this
Yeah,
film too. Very
funny
different
enough.
role. I also want to add that Joaquin's Phoenix performance was powerful. It was very good. It's all the hype it's had. It lives up to it. It's well done. The cinematography is great. The style, the plot, it's good, but it's just a lot to take in.
This is not quite a family movie.
No.
If we're gonna go see this one, this is not for the kids. Slight spoiler warning, there is no Batman in this, so there is no real superhero this time.
This is really way too serious of a subject matter. It's really dark.
Yeah, it dives a lot into the mental psyche
Yeah.
of this character and also just mental health industry as a whole. And it's just a very serious movie as a whole, is what I'm saying.
It's really dark. That's the best way I can describe it, is if you want to go see it, you have to mentally prepare yourself. If you're going to go see it with someone, make sure you're both on the same page about what you're going to see, because it's going to be realistic and it might make you feel, to me, when a movie is too close to home as it could happen to my neighbor, it leaves me feeling a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
That's how I describe it.
Gritty, it's dark, it's a lot, but would you say go to the theaters to see this, wait for Redbox, or don't see it at all?
I would say if you're not a fan of horror films, because I kind of akin this more to a horror film than I do a drama or psychological thriller, if that's your speed, you should see it. If you are uncomfortable watching that kind of intimate violence, I wouldn't see it at all. I don't think I could ever see it again, to be quite honest.
Be aware of this one, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Hi, DBL Nation. It's Rick.
Welcome back. It's now time to honor our DBL Superstar of the Week with this heartwarming story out of Texas. I love this story. Ooh, look at those cool stars. High school student Trinity Arrington decided she wanted to share her homecoming queen title with her friend Emily Petty. Emily, who is also nominated, has Down syndrome. Trinity said she wanted Emily to have her own shining moment, so she walked over during the ceremony, placed the crown on Emily's head. Get this, the two have been absolutely good friends since they first met, while Trinity spent time in the special education classroom.
Oh, I love that.
Is someone cutting onions in here? Okay.
That's a superstar
We'll
right
see you
there.
same time,
Yeah.
same place on Monday. Okay, bye.